Well, I'm not sure how much space I have, but basically, the resource center that I've been going to ever since this lady forced me to go there, like, I think that was in August or something. Early August, maybe a little before August. But anyway, that's a whole nother story. But the resource center let me know that the shelter place that I've been at a lot, really just the past like 2 days or something, had reached out to them and asked them about how old I was. But she came to me about it because they're not allowed to tell anybody any info about me. And basically, all these places share the same database. And it makes a lot of sense. Especially with the fact that, I mean, a lot of these places are owned by the same people just so they don't have to pay taxes. And if I was to go into that, then I'd be somewhere else. But basically, for the place that I go to, wait a minute. For the resource center that I usually go to and was forced to go to back in August, that's the one that's really for foster kids. Because, of course, there is nothing put in place to help people under 18 or really anybody, but especially not people in situations like I'm in, or at least was in. But I mean, I'm still kind of scared to really say anything about who I really am because all the smear campaigning. So that's still an issue and still something I worry about because I know that the smear campaigning with the Munchausen labels can really limit what services I can get or just mess up how people view me before getting to know me. I mean, of course, at the end of the day, from all the trauma, I'm going to be messed up because mental illness comes from trauma. But it's just like people have their own. Okay, wait, I'm losing my train of thought. People have their own views on labels and all that. But anyway, so this specific place that's for foster kids 15 to 24, and that you could go to even if you just want to like be a part of the programs, really if you're low income. Of course, they were told the fake name for obvious reasons, because I mean, I made sure I told everybody that so the Let Me Help You lunatics wouldn't be able to mess me up too bad if they did try to report something or whatever. Just because that's what you're supposed to do in situations like this. You're supposed to really have an alibi and do your all to avoid Let Me Help You lunatics, which I did a better job than I did 2 years ago or whatever in the world. But I mean, I still feel like I could have and still could be doing better because there's still some people that come around bothering me about help when they can't even help themselves. But anyway, so I told them my actual birthday. But of course, for the shelter place, the one that's reaching out to the resource center that I go to for people 15 to 24, of course I had to tell them, what I tell them? Like February 2005. Of course, I told them that because of course it's for people 18 plus. And I said of course 5 times. I can't even remember what I was about. Oh yeah, I was forced to go. Well, not really forced. Uh, what's the word? It's not guilt tripped. Well, honestly, I kind of was guilt tripped in a way. But I still haven't even made those videos public about all that mess that happened, which is honestly kind of a funny story. But some people got me to go there way back in, like, I don't know, July. It was way before I moved to this side of town. So, of course, I'm going to use a fake name, but I also told them some other birth date. Because, I mean, I knew that, like, just in case I really did need to go to a shelter, which luckily I didn't because the weather here is a little bit more predictable. So, like, there's actually a rainy season and a not rainy season. So it didn't rain or anything at all that whole little time period. But for just in case, I decided that I might as well go sign up. Which nobody ever reached back out to me, but I signed that paper back in, like, I don't know, July. Wait a minute. Yeah. Yeah, that was in July. But actually, I don't think I started going to the other resource center until September. I think that's when I started going. But either way, I told them February 2005. So just in case they will let me in without vital records and I really needed to go, I could. But I mean, of course, at the end of the day, with the fact that the different little abuse situations that happen, I don't look anywhere near the age I actually am. So it really messes things up for me. And that's like kind of one of the main issues now, because if I actually looked my age, a lot of these accusations that are thrown around wouldn't get thrown around about me secretly being 12 or whatever. But honestly, that lets me know that if I can't sue about anything else, I should at least be able to sue the doctor's office about not doing anything, about me being malnourished, even though really, from what I found out, it wasn't even just that. I also have had stomach ulcers. I was actually showing obvious symptoms of stomach ulcers. And pretty much everybody has parasites, but that's not talked about in the Western world. So when I started taking my health into my own hands, my health has actually gotten better, because there was a point in time where I couldn't eat anything without getting bloated and being in so much pain I wouldn't be able to walk or run, and I just have to lay down on my back until the pain went away. I could just drink a cup of anything. I mean, even water, and I'd be in pain. And all that's gotten better since I've taken my health into my own hands. But of course, I only somewhat recently really did research and digged into that. I wish I would have did it a long time ago, but I mean, when you're constantly being gaslit about the problems you actually have physically and mentally, you don't really do as much research as you should about stuff when you're having issues. So I don't really have anything else to say about. Oh yeah, I do. So back to the shelter thing though. So basically, I think that was yesterday, or was that 2 days? I think it was 2 days ago. It was raining really hard, and my tent had already had a little bit of water in it, and also the walls broke the second day I had it. So basically, the walls had been trying to cave in, but they finally ended up caving. I had to jump out before it caved in, which is good because I wouldn't have been able to get out. I really don't think I would have been able to, and I would have ended up suffocating and drowning. So that happened, and I haven't had a spot. I wanted to get out of there anyway because being on that hill was messing my back up really, really badly. And then once my back finally stopped hurting 24/7 from it, my ankle got messed up. I don't even know what's wrong with it, but it's like I'm having trouble walking on it, and then it hurts, and then sometimes it's itchy. It doesn't really look discolored, but it feels like it should look black and purple. But I don't know what's wrong with it. So yeah, that happened, and so I had to walk to the shelter place at 1 a.m. because that's the only place. I mean, that's really the only place that a lot of people have to go to when things like that happen. Of course, they don't let you in, but they let us sit on the porch at least. And I kind of tried to sleep on the porch. I've actually had trouble sleeping for the past couple of weeks, and it's really been getting to me. But I mean, it's definitely not as bad as my previous situation. I sleep better out here, but it's like just recently, especially with that whole hill thing and the water being in the tent, I haven't gotten much sleep. But I'm gonna try to get things together. But I really gotta get over this fear though, because I have a lot of fear revolving around the smear campaigning. Well, not even just that. Well, yeah, that's kind of the main thing. I'm also still waiting to be able to get my birth certificate. So I got to go to this program on Thursday to get that. And there's definitely a lot of fear with being dragged and, well, yeah, dragged, not hoovering, well, narcissistic hoovering. Dr. Amin has videos about that, but that's more so them trying to like manipulate you back in. I don't struggle with cognitive dissonance like that, and that hasn't been a problem for me in years, but I just worry about I'm trying to find some way to drag me into that conservatorship, or just run around lying on me if she finds out where I am now, and then mess everything up. And like I said, the smear campaign is already out there, so that's pretty bad. I wanted to call the police and let them know I was okay on my birthday. That's what I was gonna do, but I've been worried because, like, I already know how the police are there and how they are in a lot of places, to be honest, and I don't want them guilt tripping or gaslighting me and trying to talk to me about going back, even though I really don't have anywhere to go back to. I honestly don't even know if they still live in GA at all, to be truthfully honest. And also, it was something else. What was I gonna say? But of course, it's not even just about me worrying about what somebody's gonna say, because what somebody's gonna say to me doesn't matter that much. I worry about what they're gonna do and if they're gonna snitch. That's what I'm really worried about, because of course, at the end of the day, somebody saying something doesn't really mean anything unless your feelings get hurt easily. But what people will do, that's what matters, at least in this situation. That's the real thing to worry about. But yeah, so all these little shelter places share a database, and it makes sense too. Oh yeah, but the thing is that I forgot to say, the shelter place said they don't even believe my actual birthday either, because they could see that that's what's in the system for the resource center that I go to. And at the end of the day, something that people have to understand is that some people are out here because they don't like the systems that are put in place, because they've been through things like the Cash for Kids system and other things that have showed them what tax money really goes towards and what these systems are really put in place for. But people always feel like just because people are out here, even if they're vagabond, it's because they're hiding something or running from somebody, or basically they're some type of criminal. But I mean, it doesn't have to be like that. I mean, to be truthfully honest, I really don't want people getting paid for me to go live at that shelter place in a box. Some people call them a tin can, but in a box with no heat, no air, no electricity, no light, no bathroom, no sink, you can't cook anything, nothing. That's basically a tent, but made out of tin. Well, aluminum, something like that. I think that's like the same thing, I don't know. And then it's like, these places don't actually help you with jack. I mean, sure, you get to stay there, but then also they want to be all up in your pockets and knowing how much money you're making. I mean, there's a lot of things I don't like about these systems. Although that is the one place where you actually have your own space, since everybody is living in their own individual boxes. But one of the main things with the under 18 law, because of course, these systems don't care about anybody, and the people making the laws don't either. The real thing, which I said this before a couple of years ago, the real thing with the under 18 laws is just that places want an age where they don't have to be held accountable for something that happens to somebody. That's really all that is. And since they have a whole bunch of convicted child molesters living at a family shelter, they don't want to be held accountable for if something happens. And then the security guards don't even security guard. They don't do anything. I mean, I've heard one story where a dude jumped over the fence and tried to rape one girl, and then he didn't end up being able to rape her, so he punched some other lady in the face that lived beside her. And it's like, they're worried about how old somebody is. They need to be worried about the crimes that go on. But of course they don't care. Just like with the drugs, because like I said, in these quote-unquote mostly white areas, they don't police drug crime, really anything at times, but definitely not drugs. And it's really a bigger agenda, because what Caucasian people don't realize is the same way the government put drugs in quote-unquote black communities, they're doing the same things in theirs. And that's why there's been drug epidemics, and now they're just called street drugs, but they definitely started out in certain areas mostly, because of course in mostly quote-unquote black areas, I mean, if they were just walking down the street throwing crack out their pocket, which I've seen happen around here, and the whole SWAT team would show up, But still, the point is, they don't do anything about any of the stuff that goes on. They don't want to be held accountable if something was to happen. Like, when I was trying to sleep there the other morning, some people started fighting at 7 a.m. And the same dude that fought somebody was arguing with some lady and threatening to stab her or cut her tongue off or something before he went and fought somebody else. And like, the fight could have been prevented, but of course they don't care, so they didn't do anything when he was acting crazy I was about to say off the rip, not off the rip, before the rip, if anything. So yeah, that's what that is. But I kind of tried to avoid that place because of one person that was acting really let me help you lunatic-y. But honestly, that's kind of irrelevant now. I mean, I really feel like I shouldn't have to try to like move to different areas just to avoid certain people because they just can't take a no and accept boundaries. But now I gotta go there kind of as much as possible. But maybe I will go to some type of shelter. But it's like, honestly, even with all the stuff about that place, really, that would be the best place to go for somebody like me who really doesn't want to share a room with 10 plus people and their kids that I don't know. Because that's how shelters usually are. And with the whole living in a box thing, that's the most personal you can get at a shelter. But I don't like a lot of the rural stuff. I mean, at least they're not gonna take your phone 9 times out of 10 like they do at other places. But I mean, no heat, no air. Well, really, not even that. The certain times you can take a shower. There's certain times you can do everything. I really don't like institutionalized living, especially because of the things that have happened, and it's really flashbacky and it reminds me of a lot of bull crap. But I mean, it probably won't remind me of as much bull crap as Job Corps did. A lot of people say Job Corps is just like being in jail, and that's people who went to jail that say that. But